Well, hello everybody. I'm Anthony, and I made a huge mistake. You see, I was in an open relationship with my wife. I know it sounds weird, but a couple of years ago, our marriage was falling apart. We were fighting every other day over every stupid little thing. She was nagging me all the time, and she became less and less attractive. I decided we needed an adventure and suggested that we open our marriage. She disliked the idea of it, but I explained to her that it will spice up our love life and we'll make it work. Finally, she agreed. Right now, I really wish she wouldn't have. So, we made Fridays a date night. Sometimes I'd go to the bar to meet other women, sometimes I'd spend the night at their place. At first, it was exciting and fun. I'd scored these super beautiful women who I thought would never go out with me. I'd even dated a local celebrity for a couple of weeks. It felt amazing. I was at the top of my game. I finally gained the confidence I was lacking. My wife wasn't feeling so confident at first, but about a month or so into our agreement, she finally found a date. The thing is, we kind of decided not to tell each other about our new experiences, just to avoid jealousy or hurting the other. But I saw her bringing home these expensive gifts, and I thought, how cool. She found some rich guy. I date the most beautiful ladies. This is going well. Until it started being a competition. You see, one time I was at my office and my colleagues were laughing in a break room, talking about something. I came in and they went completely silent. It was weird. So I kept asking, what was it? And eventually my colleague told me, my wife has been dating my boss Connor for a couple of weeks. I thought, this is crazy. How can she do this to me? I'm a laughingstock at my own work. I went home and started a big fight. Are you crazy? You should have told me. She looked dumbfounded. She told me she had no idea he was my boss and they never really talked about their personal life. She even dared to comment that this whole open marriage thing was my idea, so why am I getting so angry? Sure, I should have stopped it then and there, but at the moment I thought that I'm gonna top that. That'll show her. So, I wrote to her single best friend, Lydia, and asked her out. She was hesitant at first, but I persuaded her. She knew we were in an open relationship, so she figured that maybe this will work out fine. We went out that Friday, and oh God, we had so much fun. I saw her in a different light. Somehow, I've never looked at her this way before. But when we were sitting at this restaurant laughing, she seemed beyond beautiful and perfect. I was so into her that we went out a couple more times before it all unraveled. You see, before Lydia, there never was any emotional investment in all the women I've dated. It was pure fun. But this time was different. And it felt different for my wife, too. Anytime I would come home from a date with Lydia, I would feel pure resentment for my wife. She never made me laugh. She always was so cold. I couldn't stop comparing them, too. But this one evening changed all of our lives. My wife invited Lydia to our home to have dinner. But as soon as we sat down near the table and started talking, my wife saw how we looked at each other. She stood up, walked out of the room, and immediately started packing her stuff. Lydia looked at me confused. Turns out she thought that my wife knew about our relationship. I'll admit, I didn't handle this whole situation properly. I didn't run after my wife. I was looking at Lydia. This newfound love. My wife came back downstairs to our living room and just asked us, why? Her voice was trembling. I sat there silent. Then she made a whole speech about how I pressured her into this whole arrangement. How I'm an evil person because I didn't really try to work on our marriage, and everything I did was to hurt her. Honestly, it sounded like nonsense at the moment. I shrugged, told her I'm sorry, and she left for a couple of nights. She filed for divorce a couple of weeks later. And honestly, those couple of weeks were the most horrible and dreadful of my whole life. Lydia and I went on a couple more dates, and I couldn't understand what I saw in her in the first place. She was loud, and she couldn't stop complaining about everything. We were sitting in a restaurant where my wife and I used to eat, and I couldn't stop thinking about her. What have I done? I paid for dinner, told Lydia I can't do this anymore, and contacted my wife. But it was too late. She didn't want to talk to me or see me. In the end, I lost a loyal woman who had gone above and beyond to make me happy. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to make it up to her. But I now know I have to take a hard look at myself and work on my issues. I only wish I had understood it sooner.